Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Casey?
Cliff, I don't think you've officially met. Casey,
Yep.
Soul,
Yep.
Brittany, how you guys doing? So congratulations
Thank you.
on your deal. Good for you. I want you to know that I'm recording this because I may have duped you a little bit here, but this is about Lori and her residency deals here in town, her being on committee, her being on council. I have here a notarized letter that I'd like you to see and read. And within it, the ordinances, the copy of her candidacy, declaration of candidacy, states her address at 609 Washington Street. That house is across the street from me. And I can tell you she doesn't live there. So what she put on that candidacy form is incorrect, and I'm pretty sure she knew that when she put it on there. I have the city ordinances on here highlighted. I have records of a tax check sent to her address outside of town just as early as February of this year. I have screenshots from Facebook saying that she's moving out of town and that she's moving into her dad's house and that the house that's across the street is for her son. Given all that, given the ordinances that I see, she shouldn't even be a voting member on the Parks and Recs committee because she doesn't live in town. And it's clearly written in the ordinance that she has to be.
Unfortunately, being elected, we don't have any control over that.
Well, right.
That would be at the state level. So you would have to file a complaint with the state if you don't believe that it's true. I did get contact Wisconsin Elections Commission about it before when we had the situation happen previously. I had reached out to them asking about it. And basically the way they explained it to me was if they can show proof of residence that they live there, and
but she doesn't live there.
Their primary residence isn't necessarily where they lay their head down at night, and I can pull up this email from WAC too. It's where they intend to return to. It's where they intend to live.
She has no intention of living there. We all know that.
We don't know her intent.
She hasn't lived there for over 2 years.
Well,
I literally live across the street. She does not rest her head there. This was a
Right.
big deal to this community last year.
Well, exactly. And
now here we are again.
Up to the voters. If they think that she's lying, that would be up to their vote. We cannot prosecute her in any way. That would be you would need to go to state level.
I'm not asking you to prosecute her.
Well, we can't ask her to step down.
I'm just asking you to follow the city ordinances.
If she was elected, she's proving her residency here.
But she doesn't live in this town. That is just a fact. She doesn't live in this town.
You can't state what her intent is. Only she can state what her intent is.
When she wrote this address down on this candidacy form, she didn't live there. She doesn't live there. She have Facebook screenshots that tell her that house is for her son.
Then honestly, you would have to file this complaint with the state. This is above us. It's above. We followed the rules that we are required to follow. And that's what the statute states. We're following the state statute.
So I go to
it would need to be a change, honestly, in the state
But
statute.
this is a local ordinance.
Right, and she's telling us she lives in the city, so she's not breaking anything.
But she doesn't. She's lying.
And do you see what I'm saying, though, that we can't prove where she lives? That's not our job to prove that.
Well, right. I've proven it to you.
If she registers in the city, she needs to supply a proof of residence document, and she has supplied that to us.
Which document is that?
I would have to look it up. I don't know what it was exactly, but I can look at her registration form.
So if I go to council tonight and I ask them to put this on the agenda, you guys just won't do anything about it.
And we can't at this late time. We can't change the agenda.
If I go next month and put this on the agenda,
It's
and make this a
inappropriate to be on the
public.
agenda. I'm gonna be honest, it is inappropriate.
It's
She has
inappropriate
not-
for her to lie, to say where she lives to get on council. It's inappropriate for her to be on the Parks and Rec Committee as a voting member as not being living in the city. She hasn't lived in the city for a few years. She is
But you
taking
can't-
away.
I mean, she's not lying if she's providing us with this appropriate documentation that she has to
I
provide us
could
with.
write down a piece of paper that says I'm the president of the United States, and you're just going to buy
It's
into
not-
that?
That's not the same.
It is. She
It's
can
not
just.
the same case.
So anyone, if I live in Milwaukee, and I just give you any address here in O'Connell, I can run for council and get on the council.
No. You
Then
have
what's
to
the
be able-
difference?
You have to be able to register as a voter here. You
So,
have to be
but
able
I
to
can just
have-
write down any address in O'Connell.
No, you have.
Then
to
how
have
does she
documentation
register?
that proves
What's
your
her
residency.
documentation that proves she's a resident?
I can ask him to pull it for us.
I mean, I
don't
would like to see
obviously
that. If
know
there,
off the top of my
there is
head.
documentation, I would like to see that. But in the end, she took away votes from people who legitimately live in this city who could have been on this council. Their rules, their ordinances, I'm looking right at them here. And the fact that she can lie to the city and you guys are just gonna just lay down and say you can do nothing about it. So how can you go and enforce any other ordinance that's in our book? Like if you can't enforce this ordinance about
We are
that's in
enforcing
it.
this ordinance. There's no reason for us to believe she doesn't live in the city. If that's where she registered, if that's the address she's running under, and she can prove that to us,
Well, I would ask her to prove that she lives at 609 Washington Street, because right here, 2-317, elected officials can be removed by the Common Council, as provided in Wisconsin statute. You guys have the power to do it. It says right here.
not for no reason though, and there's no reason.
You're saying that her lying about where she lives is not a good enough
Just
reason to
because
even
you're
look at?
stating that she's lying doesn't mean that she's lying.
I'm not just stating it. I am showing you where.
no.
Why would you send
No.
a check to some
This
place
is
that
not
she doesn't
proving
live in?
This isn't proving anything.
It does.
This
You
is
guys,
proving that we mailed a check to Eric and Lori Stenstrup
at what address?
to 2074 County Road N in February. That's not.
Why would you mail a check? Why would you mail money
But that's
to
not
some
proving
house you
anything.
don't live in?
That's not proving anything.
Okay, so what about this? This girl is moving back to the country. This is her words on Facebook. And I screenshots. Glad to have you back in the country. This house is for my son that's in the city.
I honestly hear what your concern is, Casey, but this is bigger than the city of O'Connell. You would have to file this. You would have to have the state statute changed in order for a change to be made. What? I'll print you all the information from what.
Did you find the documentation that I
She's
asked you
working
for?
on it.
So the Wisconsin Elections Commission is going to say that this is fine.
Yes, yes. I spoke to them last year about this, and they said it's not necessarily it's not necessarily where they lay their head. It's where they intend to return to, and that statute was designed to protect people who are displaced because of whatever reason, divorce, fire, whatever reason. That's why the statute is stated that way. Is it right, wrong? I don't know, but that's what it is. So if you want that to be changed, you would have to talk to the state. You would have to petition to get it changed. Thank you.
I mean, at least she owes Garrett an apology for running him through the coals last year, because this was a big deal to this community. Why was someone running that wasn't in the city? That was a huge deal to
Well, I
this
think
community.
that's a conversation that you should have with her. I think that's just
Well,
a
I would like to have a
conversation.
meeting
She's-
with all of us, because that's the process here, is when it's challenges, then a meeting is set up.
It looks like her proof of residence was a WPS bill. It was a utility bill.
So you guys both are sitting here telling me that there's nothing you want or can do about it, and that you're okay that she lied her way onto the council, and that she shouldn't be a voting member on the Parks and Rec Committee. It's clear as day. You should live in the city.
This does not prove anything, and we're following the state statute.
Non-residents
what
may
you-
be appointed by the mayor with the approval of Common Council to serve on any board or commission as a non-voting position.
I know
The
what
second she
statute
moved
says.
out of town, she should have been removed from the Parks and Recs Committee. You knew that she lived in town, and now you know she doesn't live out of town. I've had people in the city come to me because I'm involved. You know, I ran for alderman. I'm committed to the city, and I've had people in the city come up and say, "How is this happening? How is Lori able to get on the city council if she doesn't live in town?" People know that she doesn't live in town. It's no secret that she doesn't live in town, and it's a terrible, terrible look for the city that we're going to overlook this. That you guys claim that you can't do a single thing about
We
it.
cannot overstep the state statutes. I honestly hear your concern. I see your information here, but we can't overstep the state statute. If that's what WEC and that's what the state statute is telling us, we have to follow those rules.
So what would you consider proof that she doesn't live in town?
I can't answer that question.
You know, so you want that provided to you, but how do we
I
get
don't want
there?
it provided. It doesn't need to come to me.
So I don't want to say you don't care, but she's making decisions for the people in the city that don't affect her
That
anymore.
elected her.
Yeah, but those decisions she makes don't affect her anymore because she doesn't live in the city.
But that's your opinion.
No, it's fact. She doesn't live in the city, and the decisions that she makes on the city council.
This is proving to me that she does, and this is what we have to follow. So that's all I can. I mean, that's all I can say on that.
And this is proving to me that she doesn't. Brittany, I live.
Why is that proving?
Because this is a lie. I live across the street from this house. She does not rest her head here. She does not spend any time there. She does not live there. Like, it appears pretty cut and dry to me. And if you guys can't do anything about it, I'm certainly going to look into, going up the flagpole or stand. And this isn't, I mean, the reason we didn't do this before the election is because I didn't want to run anyone through the mud. Last year was a shit show for this election. And
Why do you say that?
because Garrett ran and the people had a meltdown that he didn't live in the city.
But you thought that was different. How is that different than this situation?
It's not any different, but he didn't get on the council. That's the difference.
But there was no complaints from you when that happened.
I would sat back and watch. It doesn't matter if I complain or not. I just sat back and watched. It's not my place to join every fight, but I'm saying the citizens, this was a big deal last year, and you know that. And now this year, I didn't want to say anything. We didn't want to say anything before the election because I didn't want it to be dirty. I didn't want my campaign to be, look at her. I wanted it to be, look at what I can do for you. But now she went in. She's on the council. She took away votes from people that legitimately live in this city. And that's a fact. She took over 500 votes away from the other candidates.
But, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but it was the city who voted. They put their
They didn't
vote
know.
where they...
They didn't know.
No, I mean, know what, though?
The people as citizens, don't know that she doesn't live in town.
According to you, though. According to this, she does.
According to a WPS bill, she lives in town, and that's all that's required for you, and you're done.
She provided the proof of residence that she needed to provide. That's what we need to do by state statute.
And bringing this up to the city council would be fruitless. There's nothing that you guys would do. You wouldn't question her. You wouldn't sit her down and say, "Listen, on an oath, where do you live?"
She did take an oath, though.
And
as an alderperson, she takes an oath.
That's even worse. That you're going to have someone who's. Where's the integrity of all of this? Where's the integrity of the election? If you're going to let this fly, that she took an oath. Does that an oath means a lot?
We take it very seriously. We take elections incredibly seriously, so don't question that.
Well, she took an oath.
We're following the state statute, and we're following what Wisconsin Elections Commission is telling us. They regulate what we do, and we follow exactly what they tell us to do.
Go ahead, Cliff. I'm sorry.
The little I know about, I don't think we can, as the council, remove her without.
You can. It's right here in the city ordinance.
You can't just remove somebody because you don't feel that they...
Elected officials can be removed by the common council
For what reasons, though? Keep
as
reading.
provided in these Wisconsin statutes. But you have the power
For
to do
reasons,
such.
though, not just because you don't like somebody.
This isn't
there
a
has
like
to be a
thing.
reason.
I'm trying so hard to not make this personal,
Well, it shouldn't be personal.
and it's not. But I waited to see if someone somewhere was going to say something.
We're following the rules, though, Casey. We're following the state statute. We're doing everything we're supposed to do. There's nothing illegal being done.
It may not be illegal, but it is certainly questions the integrity of your whole new council. Your new council, Mr. Mayor.
I understand
That's
that,
what you're
Casey.
starting this off on is a lie. She lied on her oath, and that's what we're starting this new deal on. There's really no way around it.
That would be
I know
incredibly
I
inappropriate
know.
for us to overstep the state statute, to overstep what WEC is telling us, and just make a decision based on what someone is telling us. That would be incredibly inappropriate and out of line.
Inappropriate is lying on your oath of candidacy and lying about where you live to run for city
You don't
council.
know what her intent is. You don't know what her intent is, Casey. You can't say you know what it is.
When she filed this piece of paper and when she takes this oath tonight, she's going to swear that she lives at this address.
It's not necessarily where you lay your head at night. The statute states it's where you intend to return to. You don't know what her intent is. If she's telling us that's her intent, that's what it is.
So we can't challenge this. Is that what you're saying?
You can challenge it far higher up than us. We're not doing anything wrong. You would have. I think
mean,
the
you may
only
be-
solution would be petitioning to change the statute, because we're following the statute. That's what the statute states. The statute would need to. Is that right? What the intent of a person is? I don't know. I don't write the state statutes. That would need to be changed in order for this to be a problem.
Well, I understand, and I can't make you do anything, but it is disheartening, to say the least, that a WPS bill gets around the integrity of an election. You know, that we're going to see that and be like, it is fine, because we all know she doesn't live there. You know, and it's frustrating to say the least when someone is blatantly lying, gets on city council, can now make decisions about the people of the city, but her decisions will not affect her because she just doesn't live in the city. So I won't waste any more of your time. I'll go back and think about how I want to, move forward with this, when it is disheartening to the max
I appreciate you
that
coming
we're
in and
starting
bringing
this
to
off.
us,
And I'm not trying to come in here and be a pain in the ass. I'm trying to be respectful and follow the channels. I'm not out on Facebook being a jackass, and maybe I have to. Maybe that's what gets maybe that's what gets the attention.
I don't think
Well, I know you don't think it's a good idea, but you know what? The people don't know.
Well, it's your voice. You can use your voice however you please. But I
Right.
appreciate you coming in here to get the facts on it.
And I do, and like I said, I don't want to. I'm trying to be respectful. This could be handled in house. I'm not asking you to go out there and, tar and feather her, but it is very disheartening knowing what I know. The fact that I live across the street and she had not spent a night there in years. And that if that doesn't bother you guys, I know you're at work and you can't.
Well, government isn't about what your feelings are. It's about following the rules, and we're following the rules.
I don't know if you are, but our city ordinance states other. No person shall be elected to a city office who is not, at the time of the election, a citizen of the United States, an elector of the city, and actually residing there within. That is in our ordinance. If we're not following this, might as well just get rid of them. How can you enforce any other ordinance in the city if you're not going to enforce these, if you can pick and choose? These are our city rules. I don't understand how the city isn't following the city rules. I mean, you kind of understand where I'm coming from, right?
I hear what you're saying, but we are following the rules.
I'm looking right at our rules, Brittany, and it
I'm
actually
looking right
says
at her registration
actually
fee.
residing. Oh, okay, I forgot. She has her WPS bill. All right, I will let you guys get to it. We got a long night of meetings. This is disheartening, and you know, whatever happens from this is preventable. So, thank you.